What's going on, guys? Yeti here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys what is, in my opinion, probably the best game capture software, screen recording software, live streaming software, whatever you want to call it, the best one out there. I've seen a lot of people asking, not me specifically, but in their own videos, in comments of other people's videos, what sort of like recording software people use, what people would recommend, and I thought I'd do a video showing this off because whenever I see people asking that, I always recommend OBS. First of all, because it has, in my opinion, well, it's not really opinion, it's fact, but it has like one of the most feature-heavy software out there at the moment, and it's completely free. So I would definitely recommend this. Like, I also own Bandicam, which was about 28 quid. I think it was, and I know Fraps is about the same, but I would honestly recommend this over both Bandicam and Fraps, because I've viewed both of them in the past, and they're both pretty good software. But this is free. It has way more features. It uses much less processing power, so you'll get less of a performance hit while you're gaming. So there'll be a link in the description to download it yourself, and an annotation on the screen. It's just obsproject.com if you want to go and download it. I'm sure you can figure it out that bit yourself. But what I actually wanted to do, besides just giving you a recommendation of using it, I wanted to show you guys the basics of how to get started with it, what you actually want to do with it to get started. As well as showing you some extra side things you can do. So I'm going to show you the basics of what is necessary, but I'm also going to show you just some extra things you can do if you want. I will only be showing you how to do local recording for this. So if you want to record Let's Play videos or something like that, if you want to see a separate video on how to live stream with this program, then let me know and I'll do a separate video as well. But for now, I'm just going to be showing you guys how to get started with it. So you'll be presented with this. The window will be about this size, but I've put it full screen for the sake of this video. So what you want to do, as you can see, you've got this down here. You've got essentially the control panel. This is all the important stuff, and then we'll go through the settings in a minute. Actually, it's probably best to go through the settings first. So before you do anything, you'll have this, and as you can see, nothing's going on here. So you can have profiles. So these I never use these, even though I should. If you're going to be using different resolutions for games, or maybe if you want to stream and you also do local recordings and you want a different resolution for the streams and you do the local recordings, then what you can actually do is make a profile, name the profile, and then say if you're doing a stream, you can have it on the stream profile and you can switch back between each profile. I don't do that, but I would recommend doing that if you are going to be changing between them a lot. But what you want to do, something that's really important, is we're going to go over to settings, and then this is going to be the settings tab, and here you switch between the profiles. As you can see, you get settings profiles as well. So obviously you want your English language. This isn't really important stuff, but this encoding tab is really important. Now, first of all, the encoder, I would heavily recommend that you keep this as it is. I'm not going to go into detail with each one. Basically, QuickSync is if you have an AMD graphics card, and NVIDIA NVENC or NVENC is if you have a NVIDIA graphics card. But I would honestly recommend X264. I would say 95% of people use OBS. Keep it as it is. I wouldn't recommend changing it. If you want to look into the different encoders, feel free to do that. I wouldn't recommend even bothering with it, but if you want to spend the time to look into that and find out if this is actually a better option for you, then feel free to do so. But really, I'd just say leaving that as is. You want to make sure use CBR is ticked. Essentially what that stands for is constant bitrate, and we'll talk about bitrate in a second. That basically means that the bitrate stays constant instead of like spiking up all over the place. I would recommend this because if you're doing a game which is like going between action and not much happening, and the bitrate will sometimes spike and it'll go a bit weird. So I'd recommend definitely keeping that on. Twitch would actually recommend it as well. If you have it turned off, you'll get a little notification saying, yo, you've got this turned off, you want to turn it back on. But yeah, leave the quality balance. As you can see, it's grayed out at the moment. Leave all this as it is. Quality balance, leave this unchecked and leave this as it is. What's important is this. Also, audio encoding, I would definitely recommend leaving 128 with all this, the same codec. Don't mess around with the audio. I don't think you have any need to. If this is the kind of thing that you'd have need to mess around with, I'd imagine you already know what you're talking about and stuff, so you probably wouldn't need this. So this is the bitrate. Now, I can't really go through a step-by-step guide of... I can't really tell you exactly how much bitrate you need, basically. It really depends on, first of all, your internet, because the bitrate is how much, as you can see, kilobytes per second, the bitrate is how much data is transferred each second, and this really depends on, first of all, your upload speed. Now, if you go on the OBS project, I'll put a link in the description to this as well. If you go on the OBS site, there's actually a site which will give you your recommended bitrate. You can tell it what type of game you're playing, you can tell it your graphics card, and you can tell it your upload speed, and it will recommend a bitrate for you. I would definitely recommend checking that out. And if you are still confused, feel free to tell me your. Go to ookla.net, and then there'll be a link in that everything on every website I mentioned there'll be a link to, and do a speed test of your internet, and then feel free to tell me your upload speed and what you are planning on streaming, and I'll try and help you out, try and find a bitrate for you. But if you're doing a local recording, bitrate is still important, but it doesn't matter, as in like there's no limit. If your bitrate is too high and you're in like for your internet when you're streaming, your stream will just be a pixely blurry mess. So your bitrate has got to be high. But if your bitrate is too low, it'll just be a pixely blurry mess. So you got to find the right bitrate. If it's too high, you won't be able to transfer, but if it's too low, you won't be able to see anything. I have about 1 megabyte of upload, so I usually use 650 for streaming. If you're streaming in about 480p, I'd recommend about 1200, but again, it really depends the game you're streaming. For local recordings, I usually stick it at 4000 because this is high enough that it can usually handle anything. So a high action intensity game like a first-person shooter or something like Shadow of Mordor or something like that, Dragon Age Inquisition, The Witcher, anything like that. It'll easily be able to cope with the fast movement, because that's another thing. If your bitrate is too low and you're moving around quickly and there's a lot of action, it won't be able to keep up. So 4000, I've never had any problems with this. I've been using it for a while now, and that should cover you. But if your internet, you need really good internet to have 4000 bitrate. So if you are streaming, then I'd definitely suggest looking into that yourself. But for the sake of just local recording, then 4000 will definitely do you. Okay, so now we're coming over to broadcast settings. So as you can see, you've got your mode here, live stream and file output only. I'll talk about live stream in another video if you guys do want that or not. So file output only. Here you got your file path, so you choose. This is where everything will be saved. So I just have it saved into documents, and then I have a file called OBS in my documents file. I have it saved there. As you can see, I just have it called hype, just because it's what I thought of at the time. So as you can see, all of the files will just go in there named hype, and then they'll just build up. So you gotta keep an eye on those, deleting them and stuff as you go along, or renaming them and moving them elsewhere as you go along as well. So I just choose your file. It's pretty standard stuff. And then again, all of this replay buffer, don't even mess with that unless you specifically know what it is. I didn't make any changes, but well, don't mess with it. So the video adapter, this should automatically, I mean, as you can see, I've only got one choice. This should automatically just know what your adapter is. If you have multiple graphic cards, then I guess choose which one you want to use, but this should automatically know. Or some people might have like a graphics card and say Intel HD or something like that. I have an AMD processor which doesn't have any built-in graphics, so I don't have that. I only have this. But you want to have essentially your graphics card, your main graphics card. You want to just have that. And then base resolution, this is not really something to even think about or to worry about at the moment. Basically what this is this is just the resolution that you're recording at. So once you set this, you probably want to change it. So I record my videos in 720p basically. So I'll just go ahead and do 1280 by 720, hit apply, and then it will be in 720p. Everything you see on here will be in 720p. If you want it in 1080, you can change it to 1080, you can change it to 480, you can do whatever you want. I record at 720, if you want to have it in 1080, put it to 1080. This is literally the resolution you want to record that, and you can make it in anything you want. You can make it in 4K if you really want to. All this is, the resolution you put in here is the resolution which you will be recording in. Then you've got resolution downscale, which is not necessary, because if you want to have 360p, just put in 360p, you don't need to do downscale. And then here you got the FPS again. I record on 30 FPS, so I have it at 30. If you want to make 60 FPS videos, it's as simple as just typing in 60, and then there you go, your video will be in 60 FPS. And then you can go all the way up to 60, and you can have it as whatever you want. Okay, no, I'll just leave that for now. So coming over to audio again, this is pretty important. All this down here, I would suggest just leaving. All this down here, just leave it alone. This is pretty important. Now, obviously, you want to show only connected devices. So you've got the desktop audio device and the microphone device. So the microphone is obviously what your voice is going to come through. So I have the default, which is whatever my operating system chooses it the default to be, which for me would be my microphone. And then obviously to disable it, so you have no mic at all. So if you don't have any mic or any audio, you can just disable that. Or what you can actually do is, if I just close this real quick, you can just sort of go like that. So obviously you can see like the audio volume down here, and you can just turn it off. But we'll come to that in a second. So yeah, this is what you want to do. It's pretty simple. You just drop down this and then choose your mic. Make sure you choose the right one, because if sometimes Windows for some reason, like once you've got it set to choose your mic, it won't like randomly change it. But for some reason, when I first installed it, it had it set to my webcam mic, which is what this is. So make sure you get it set to the right one you want, and then we should be all good. So this is what like say the game audio is going to come through. Any music's going to come through the default audio device, and then this is just going to be the microphone. Okay, so here we've got hotkeys. This is like super straightforward stuff. All this push to talk, which I wouldn't recommend. If you're making a video, you don't want to be holding down a push to talk key. But maybe you're doing something like a voiceover or something, and you only want to be talking. So feel free to set up a push to talk or a mute or unmute mic. That's actually really useful. I have a mute button on my mic. But if you don't have that, if you're like an 80-20-20 or just anything that doesn't have a mute button, I would recommend setting this up and just making it like a random button on your keyboard, so you can just press that and it'll mute, and then press that to unmute. And then you can do the same with desktop audio. So you can do all this, you can mute and unmute desktop audio. Like I said, I have a mute button on my mic, and I never really feel the need to mute my desktop audio. So it's not really too big of a problem, but yeah, it's really awesome that this option is here. So if you don't have a mute mic, you can easily do that. And then this is the important stuff. So as you can see, you've got start stream and stop stream, start recording, and then replay buffer, which, like I said, I wouldn't really bother. If you want to look into that, then that's fine, but I very rarely have heard anyone using that. So basically, if you have it set into streaming mode, then these will be separate. So this will start the stream, this will stop the stream, and this will start a local recording, and this will stop a local recording. But as you saw before, in broadcast settings, we have it set to file output only. So because it's on file output only, even though it says start stream, it will just start the local recording. So this is none minus. Because I'm on file output only, if I hit minus, it will just start the file. It'll start local recording. So if you're just doing videos, then have it on. If you're just doing like let's plays and stuff, have it on file output and then just use these. Because even though it says stream, it will just do a local recording. But if you are doing streaming, then remember that these are different things. But as long as you're just doing local recordings, it doesn't really matter. And then all this advanced stuff, if you're just new to the software, none of this, in my opinion, is really worth messing with. I've been using this software for about a month now, about a year now, and I've never had to even like mess with any of this, and I've only recently started looking into it, like what it even is. Like I've not even ever, like I just looked at it and just went whatever and moved on and not had to mess with it. The only thing I'd recommend checking is make sure this is on very fast, and then leave it at that. If you want to do tests, then feel free to check super fast or ultra fast. Just check these, whatever works for you. But honestly, I'd say just don't mess with it. Just leave it as it is. It will automatically choose what it thinks is good. And then quick sync encoder. This is just if you have quick sync, which I don't, so I can't do anyway. But if you did earlier on when I mentioned that, if you did decide to choose to use quick sync, then you would have had to look into this yourself. But I mean, yeah, obviously I can't even do anything with this in the first place. Microphone noise gate. This I don't see the point. The only thing I say this is worth it is if you have like really loud fans or really loud background noise. Essentially, what this is the microphone will be silent unless it goes above a certain decibel range. So I would enable the voice gate, and then I can slide these up and down. And then basically the closed threshold and the open threshold is anything below here will be silent. So let me just try and make a preview for it. So as you can see, when I'm talking, you can see, ignore what's going on in the background, I've got an old scene which I don't use anymore. As you can see, when I'm talking, you can see that my voice goes above here. So if I put this down to here, and then this here, anything below this line will be completely cut out. So when I go quiet, you can see that there's this level of background noise. So I want to put this roughly here. So when I'm not talking, all of the background fan noise will be completely just blocked out. And this is something that you want to work, if you are going to be doing this, you're going to need to spend a little bit of time messing around with it just to get it right. So set it sort of like roughly like this, and set this one to sort of the top of where you're talking, like here. And then once you've got it set how you think it'll work, then click apply, and then go ahead and do a recording and test it. And if you like it, you can stick with it, or you can change it. But basically that's what a microphone gate is. All that sound will be cut out, but you know, I don't think it's necessarily worth it. But if you do want to do that, then you know, feel free to do so. But yeah, so that's basically it for the settings, honestly. Screen switcher is only useful if you have multiple monitors, but then that's sort of like advanced stuff. So if you want to look into that yourself, feel free to do so. I can't really show you that because I only have one monitor, but yeah. So other than that, none of this is really important. Obviously, the help stuff is there if you wanna get that. Scene collection is useless. And all this, open the so like you can just go to the recordings folder easily. So now you've got the UI. Let's see how long this has been going. 15 minutes. This has been going on for a long time. This is a really in-depth tutorial on how to use OBS. So you obviously won't have any scenes or any sources. I have these because I use these a lot, and you don't need to worry about any of these. So basically, this will be blank. There'll be no scenes on here. So what you want to do is go down to scenes, and right click and then hit add scene. Now there's other stuff like you can change the order. So say I wanted this one at the top, I can just go like move up, or I can like move it to the top, move to bottom. It just like moves the order of the scene, and then you've got, you can copy scenes, you can rename them. But you just want to hit add scene and then name your scene. We'll call it butts because we're mature. And then you've got a scene, and then in the scene, this is basically where you add sources. So we're going to hit preview stream, and there are no sources at the moment, so this is what it'd look like if I started recording, or if oh, by the way, yeah, down here you can see there's a preview button that helps you preview it. Genius! But yeah, so as you can see, if I started recording or streaming now, it'd just be a black scene, because there aren't any sources. So let me go ahead and open up a game. I'll just open up Rebirth, because it's easy to open up. You won't hear the game sound, because I have no game sound turned on. So just be like aware of that. So as you can see now that I have the game open, because that's the way I have OBS recording. So what you want to do is, if you have a game, you want to right click, hit add, and then there are different types of capture. Now you want to hit game capture, and this will usually work for most games, and if you can use game capture, then do, because it will get the best performance with games. And then you'll be presented with this screen, and you basically just have the application, you just choose your game. As you can see, I've got Isaac Rebirth, and then basically this is pretty simple. So you can choose it whether you want to capture the mouse cursor or not. I generally would recommend having that turned off. You can turn the brightness up or down if you want to have it brighter in the recording, but not in your actual screen. Which I usually find pretty useful, because some of my games, when I'm playing, it's fine for me, but in the recordings it's a little bit dark. So you can turn the gamma up here. But where this is important is if you are recording in 720p and you're playing in 720p or you're playing in 1080p, then it'll automatically be the right size, because it's the right resolution, at least 16:9, so you can just resize the game yourself. However, this Binding of Isaac window isn't actually 720p, but I'm recording in 720p. So if I just go like this, as you can see, oh, never mind, wait, I got the resolution set to 1050p, don't I? Oh no, it's not. Okay, I guess this window is 720p. I didn't realize the window was 720p. So, okay, if my window is 720p and I'm recording in 720p, oh no, wait, it isn't. Why is OBS being weird? There we go, okay, I got confused for a second. OBS was being weird. So as you can see, OBS basically takes the 720p window. Because this window is bigger than 720p, it'll take the 720p section of it, and it'll just mold it to the screen. So if I went into a game now, I would basically have the screen cut off, basically. So let me just like hop in here to an Isaac game. And as you can see, the screen is like barely just cut off at the top there, but you can see that the game is cut off. And that's because I'm recording in 720p, but the window is not 720p. If you are playing in a window which is the same size as your recording, then this will be fine. It'll automatically make it the right size. However, what you want to do is not. All you need to do is click stretch image to screen and then click ignore aspect ratio, and then that will automatically make the game the right size. And as you can see now, the game is... Okay, OBS is capturing weird for some reason. As you can see now, the game is now the right size. It's not cut off, the game is looking all good. It's, everything's fine, basically. We got Paramaniac. So good it hurts. So that's what you're going to do. Now, most people will probably be playing in either 720p or 1080p, but if you're playing in a window which is a different size, make sure to click to get the right size. And that is basically it. You've got your recording going, you've got the bitrate set up, and you can see down here, you can see the length of the video down in the bottom right. Dropped frames isn't really important for local recording, because you won't drop any frames, but that's important if you're streaming. You can see the FPS, you can see the bitrate, it's all good. Now, pretty basic stuff down here. You can see mic volume, you can turn that up and down, so if you want to turn your mic up and down, you can do that. And then this is the audio volume again. It's all super basic stuff. Now, obviously, you want to do your sort of audio test before you start recording, which I have to do before every session, because I always forget what settings. But it's super simple. You've got your mic, you've got your audio. So yeah, that's basically that. Now, I thought I'd show just a couple of little extras, little extra things. As you can see, this is basically all we need to do. But I thought I'd show some little extra stuff. So first of all, for example, how to add a face cam. So first of all, there are a few other things you can capture. Monitor capture does what it says on the tin. It'll capture my monitor, which is being hella weird just because of the way I've got it recording. As you can see, you know, it's capturing my monitor. It's funky as fuck, but it's capturing my monitor, so yeah, let's just get rid of that. Which is what I've got going on here. This is a separate instance of OBS, which is capturing my monitor for the sake of this video. Yeah, but you got monitor capture. What you can also do is window capture. Now, every now and then, if you have a game, let's actually get rid of... Oh, I shouldn't have got rid of the game. I should have just got rid of the window capture there. Let's bring the game back. Every now and then, some games, for some reason, are stupid and won't appear in the game capture. So what you can actually do is you can hit window capture and name that what you want, and then find it in here. And then if the capture doesn't show up, click compatibility mode, and then that should help any problems you've got. Video. Window capture, am I capturing the right thing? I am. Okay, OBS is fucking with me today. But basically, I mean, obviously, it works for that, so you'd want to just use game capture for this, but... yeah, if any window isn't working, so you only use game capture for games, and then obviously window capture for windows. But if for some reason something isn't capturing properly, try windowed mode, and then try doing compatibility mode. Another neat thing you can do, which I don't think I'll be able to easily demonstrate within this video, I should have set up beforehand. Actually, let me show you subregions first. So subregions basically record a certain section of the screen. So what I can actually do for an example here is open up Desmoom, which is a DS emulator. So as you can see, Desmoom is basically, you've got the top screen and you've got the bottom screen. Now, if you want to have these screens separate instead of just having it like this, because if you go window capture, as you can see, let me mute that. Actually, you guys can't even hear it, but it's really loud on my end. Let me just get rid of that. So as you can see, the game will record both screens basically. This is the OBS capture now, and you've got them both on top of each other. If you wanted to capture just one bit of the screen, what you can actually do is go ahead and hit subregion, and then once you've got this, you hit select subregion, and it will give you an option. Why is it being a bitch about it? Okay, well, hold on, it's minimizing Desmoom, which I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't. Okay, so let me just go like this and try again. Select subregion, here we go. So this is what it should do. I don't know why it was being so weird today. Of course, the one day I go to record a video. And all you can do is you basically drag this window, and it will only record the bit which is in the window. So I can have the top screen, then I just hit OK. And as you can see, I've only got the top window now, and not the bottom window. And then if I want to have like the bottom window next to it, then I can just go ahead and add another window capture of the same window. Come over here, hit use subregion, select subregion, and then I can select the bottom window. And then you've got basically just two separate captures instead of just having it like two captures for one thing, like different parts of one thing. And as you can see, even though they're like on top of each other in here, you can clearly see that I've got the two different captures. So that is very rarely useful, but if you're playing DS games, I guess it's the thing. Okay, and then the next thing what you can actually do is something called a color key. This is very useful if you have a webcam with a green screen. Other than that, I wouldn't say it's that useful. But let me come back to that, because I'm going to show you guys how to add a webcam as well. So I have my webcam plugged in, so what you can also do is add an image, which is like super straightforward. You'll get this. You can browse and just find an image. So say I'll use this, and then the color opacity is all pretty standard, and I can hit OK. And then I can edit that as I will. The image is a 720p image, so it automatically sizes it. And I should point out that you just click edit scene, and then you can freely move what you want as you want to. It's pretty simple. So what you can actually do is if you go on it, you can hit use color key, and then it'll give you this. This will become open, and all you need to do is hit select, and it'll give you this picker tool. Click a color, and then hit OK, and it will get rid of that color. So as you can see, I clicked the blue color, so everything blue is now gone. And if I get rid of this, all that will be gone. If I get rid of, say, this grayness, all the grey will be gone. And that's literally all it is. It gets rid of the color that you pick. So the way this is useful is if you have a webcam, which I don't have a green screen. I'll show you how to add a webcam now. You just add video capture device. And and then you get all this, and this is basically, it is what it is. So you pick the video capture device. If you have a capture card, if you're capturing from console, then your capture card will show up here. I'm going to use my webcam, and then you can do, this is just all like the little things which I'm pretty sure you can figure out yourself. Flip image vertically, opacity, you know, all that sort of stuff you can figure out yourself. Custom resolution, so you can change the resolution of it, but I wouldn't do that. If the resolution is 720p, fix it, like keep it at 720p. Keep the FPS as what it default is, because if you change it, it's obviously not native, so it'll start to get a bit weird. Something I would definitely recommend doing is, as you can see, audio input device, disable that for sure, because it will default as its own audio device, and if I had that now and hit OK, as you can see, hi everyone, this would be taking in audio from my webcam and from my mic at the same time. So the audio would go over each other and it'd start to sound really horrible, because obviously I have the audio coming through my mic, but now I also have the audio coming through this. So you want to make sure this is disabled, unless you're using it as a mic and you don't have your own desktop mic. You want to make sure that's disabled, otherwise you'll get 2 layers of mic over top of each other. Then, you know, usual gamma, pretty standard stuff. But the way this works, I've already shown you color key. You just hit color key, hit select, and then you just sort of like choose the green, like click on the green, and then it'll get rid of it. Now, as you can see, I don't have a green screen, so that's like really messed up and isn't going to work for me. So, you know, but if you have a green screen, that's all you do. You just click color key and then hit select, and then you just hit edit scene, and then you can shape it as you wish, plonk it here, top right, and then there you go. So that is the basics of OBS. I know this was really long, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry it went on so long. If you have any questions, I'm terrible at explaining stuff, so if you do have any questions, feel free to ask a comment. I read everyone, and I'll reply to any questions you may have. Even if I can't help, I'll try and find someone who can. So yeah, but thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this. That is the basics. If you want to see a video on how to live stream to Twitch, then feel free to let me know in the comments. And that's basically that. That's how to set up OBS. That's how to set up a recording, and how to, you know, do some basic stuff like adding images, adding you know, overlays, and, you know, webcam, stuff like that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this wasn't too shitty. I kind of feel like it was, but anyway, peace off, guys. Where is my right OBS? Here it is. Peace off, guys.